T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. Today we kick off season 6 with our part 2 interview with our good friend from Ukraine, Kate. We will get right to the interview after this important message.
This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you in partnership with ministryleague.com. We would love for more people to discover this show, so please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast provider. Feel free to share on your social media and subscribe at benandtravis.com for the free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living.
When you think about what are the hard sayings of Jesus, and I'm not sure that there's one that's much more difficult than love your enemy.
Yeah.
And in times like this, Kate, for you, for your family, for the church family, for everybody that's in your circle that's involved in all of this and having to deal with all of this, you're having to live a year away from your home because of an enemy. I don't know if you can expound on that, but it seems as though you have a ability. I know that there's days you probably struggle with that, but you seem to have a attitude about yourself that indicates to me that you do show love to your enemy.
Yeah, about that. I'll tell you. The thing is, I like how Ben said that about we are feeling here like comfortable, and I'm coming to this trap too. I'm getting into this trap too. I sometimes I do feel here so comfortable that I was like, oh wait, did I check the news? But I'm thinking, did I check the news? But what I should be thinking, did I pray? Or like, did I? It's hard. It was like, lives are so busy. And I don't even have a kid, but my life is busy right now, with the work and some activities at church. And I just moved into a new place. We got so caught up with all of the things. But what I wanted to say is that me coming here and all of the other Ukrainians coming here, the amount of love we received at Tuscumbia Church of Christ is like, we knew that we are prayed for, cared for, and loved for, and we didn't even ask for that. Like, I didn't come here with expectations that everybody's gonna be like, oh, poor Kate, I didn't come here to hear those things from people, and I don't hear that. But what they share is their time, their true interest, and they want to be involved. And when they ask, how is your day, or like, how is your family, they actually care. They're not just asking because they're polite. So that's just something that I've been learning from all of you guys here. That's just something that's not common in my culture. And church in Ukraine is pretty young, and there's a lot that I need to be absorbing here from other people, and this is what I'm doing. I'm very thankful to have people like that in my life.
Well, take all of our good stuff
and
leave all of our baggage here, right? Don't take any of that. But I think of in the Bible, and I can't remember, there are several occasions, but when the Romans were taking Christians to be persecuted, and a lot of them put to death, put in jail, there would be people who would come out to see them and cheer them on. Other Christians would cheer them on as they went to suffering and persecution. And just people were in awe of the response of Christians, even in the midst of horrible, terrible circumstances. And I just am blown away by your example, coming in and smiling and having a good, not that there's times we shouldn't share when we're struggling, but I think that that's such a great example to those of us that think we got problems, and we all do, and we all have them. But what an example of that. Like I said, I preached at Tuscumbia about suffering, and for them to tell me there are people watching on the other side of the planet, and it was that's such a blessing to me and hopefully that is reciprocal. But that's how God works. There's this reciprocation. Right. That's a whole new word probably that I just created. But the fact that this can be heard around the world, and we've got people who listen and all over the place, and they're going to hear this story. And we know God's going to be glorified, and then also people will be touched by it. People, like I said, that may not wake up and think about Ukraine every day. At least when they hear this, they're going to go, I need to be praying about that, or I need to be thinking of those people and seeking out a way that we can help. So the next question is, how could somebody who's listening to this, obviously prayer is huge and kind of the easiest and most powerful thing, but are there other ways that we can help or reach out to you or anyone else? Would there be a contact person?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like I mentioned earlier, there's a housing thing going on in Warsaw. People come and go, but there's like a specific amount of people who are staying there. And, for right now, I think some of them, already working and all the things, but at the very beginning, they had nothing. They came with nothing. They came was like little bags, not even like suitcase or anything, because I didn't have time. So with all of this being said, that there's Ukraine Fund that's going on, and it exists. And if you need more information about it, if you want to help like specific people, or if you want to pray for specific people, just go to Pray for Ukraine group on Facebook, or go to the page of Jeff Abrams. He updates really a lot, and he gets a lot of information about people and situations in Ukraine. Now, if you do want to know more information, specific information about what's going on in churches in Ukraine and Poland and some other countries across Europe, you can go to the page of Alexander Rodichev, which I know might be hard to tell. Rodichev is his last name, and you can find him on the Facebook with Jeff Abrams Friends. He posts really a lot. He tells what they're doing on the Western Ukraine. He tells things about, all of the people right now, what he and his friends are doing there. They're trying to make a list of all of the people, all of the preachers that are stayed in Ukraine actually, and stayed all over the Europe, and where they actually staying. So other people, if they want to come back, or if they want to, get out of the country, they would know specifically where these people are, and they can actually connect and they can worship together. So that's the main thing, I think.
I'll put all that information that I can find in the description.
I'll help you.
So Kate, we know, and you've talked about missing home, and if you could send a message to them, if they were out there and somebody was going to hear this in Ukraine, is there something you'd like to tell them? Or if it's not just them, just the whole world, like what would you want them to know as we kind of wrap up our interview?
Yeah, well, there's nothing that I can say that can make it better, or there's nothing really. But what I'd say, God already won, and we're just waiting for our victory. And, people who are here did not forget people who stayed there. This is, my heart is there. Our hearts are there. Our lives are there. And we all praying and hoping that it's all going to end soon. And the main thing is just stay with God. Just, and I mean, you encourage me, really. The people who stay there, the people who are serving so big, and their hearts are so big and open for all of the people who stayed there, it's encouraging me. And I am a better person because I know some people who stayed there, and because I know what they're doing, what they're going through, and they're just great examples for me.
This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you by Heritage Christian University. The mission of Heritage Christian University is simple. We aim to advance the churches of Christ by equipping servants through undergraduate
and graduate programs. HCU produces effective communicators of the gospel, focusing on evangelism and a commitment to Scripture. Heritage Christian University offers the following degrees: Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, Master of Arts, Master of Ministry, and a Master of Divinity. HCU is accredited by the Association for Biblical Higher Education. Since 1968, Heritage Christian University has offered affordable degrees in biblical studies, allowing graduates to thrive in their ministries without the burden of loan debt. For more information about Heritage Christian University, visit www.hcu.edu.
The other question then would be, since you have come to the United States, there's especially down here in the South, there are a lot of different options when it comes to music. And sometimes that can be just as divisive as the Alabama-Auburn question of, what kind of music do you listen to? So what have you found to be your favorite kind of music here in Alabama?
Well, I've been living with some people, and I was really influenced by them a lot. And a couple of years ago when I was just visiting them, they got me a ticket to a concert. So I really like things like Need to Breathe and like Judah and the Lion. That's just because Will and Jenna are big fans, and Ben Rector, which is different direction, I understand, but I like him too a lot. I understand it's a total different.
Eclectic.
Eclectic.
Yeah.
That's me. It's all of it for me, but some people are very hardcore country and some are not. So just curious what you picked up on.
I'm just saying, Alabama Need to Breathe.
That sounds like a winner.
Yeah, that's a winner.
We like
in my
for sure.
You're good company. Good company.
She passes.
Yes, I am a home cooking person. Like I have the best of all worlds. My mother-in-law is a person who she caters, so she does like weddings and stuff. So she's got her brand. It's awesome. My wife is a very healthy eater. It's got her brand. It's awesome. And then my mom makes grub, like beans and kind of thrown together, and it's amazing. So I don't go hungry, that's for sure. But if we could, or someone here could make one Ukrainian meal, or maybe I don't know what the word
delicacy,
or a candy. I know we probably got different candy. It could be one or the other. What would you take? Like if you could just have, that one thing, and it would just make the day better. No, we don't have it hid anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I
don't want to hit you. It's not hid anywhere. I don't have anything. So
I was gonna say
we're all excited.
She has to fix, and then we'll
all participate.
Yeah.
Well, I really like chicken casserole.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Did you grow up here? It's like I'm beginning to think.
Is that a Ukrainian dish? Chicken casserole?
Well, I tell you, you might start hating me right now, but I do not like green beans.
No green beans.
It's okay. We can still be friends with that.
Thanks.
So I guess right after the conflict started, some of my buddies and I in Huntsville, Alabama, had a Ukrainian meal. And so all the people there, some of them had been to Ukraine, fixed food that was their jam. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was I'm not a real eclectic person when it comes to eating. I like the stuff I like, and that's what I stick to. But I was impressed. Yes, I was impressed.
So Travis and I, when we go travel places, that different places have that thing. We went to West Virginia, and they have pepperoni rolls. Isn't that what it's called?
Yes.
And so it's just bread, inside, or pepperoni inside bread. They used it in the mines, so it wouldn't go bad. They could, keep it in their pouches for days or whatever. So that's their thing. You go to other places and people have their thing. So what's the Ukrainian, or at least your towns like? Is there a taste of the town? Is there a thing that if you were to go there, this is what you're going to eat at some point?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to go to a Ukrainian restaurant, you might want to order dumplings with meat, or dumplings with, it sounds gross, maybe, dumplings with cabbage, but it's very good. Or our borscht looks a lot like your chili. Borscht is the best. This is what I should ask you after you trying out borscht, and I'll decide if I like you or not. If you're in the borscht camp or not borscht camp.
Gotcha. Well, look, you just said y'all have chili and you have dumplings. Are you Alabama?
We had borscht. We had borscht, but it looks like chili.
Oh, it looks like chili.
Yeah. I just wanted you to have an idea.
What's in it that makes it different than chili?
Okay, there's cabbage, potatoes, any kind of meat can be in it. So you should just ask what kind of meat in there, and a tomato paste, and some veggies. That's it.
Excellent.
I could go with that.
I was about to say, sounds good to me.
Some people do not like it because it's red, and they're like,
I totally had some of that at that meal I was talking about. I had both of those, and I was, like I said, it was good. It was good. I was fired up.
Yeah.
When they said they were going to do Ukrainian food, I had to be honest. I was like, oh, I'm going to be too picky for this.
You had
And then
borscht
I was
and
like,
didn't
I'm going
even
to try
know.
all this, and it was good. It was good.
That's
As
awesome.
usual, I ate too much. That's how that works.
You tell me where borscht is being fixed at some point, and I will come try.
I will, absolutely. Yeah.
And we appreciate all the things that you've gone through, and yet still trusting in the Lord. And that's just a tremendous example. If you ever say another thing or not, just the light that you kind of shine coming into a room. And my wife was very disappointed when she found out I would not be recording this in Fayetteville because she wanted to tell you hi.
I was disappointed she's not going to be here.
I'm going to tell you for her that she said hi. She was very impressed with you at TLC.
Well, I'll tell you, when I heard her story, I was like, okay, people like her should have been here. Not like me.
I don't know. She would totally disagree, but that's what makes y'all so great. Humility. I need some of that. But Kate, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.